Hello and welcome to BBB Sharing. My name is Paris Lape. I'm your podcast host today here with Cole Tucker, the owner of Tucker Franklin Insurance Group. He's been the owner since 1998. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you, Paris. Certainly appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. So let's jump right into it. You have been the owner since 1998. That's over 25 years. Tell me how you started this business.
Well, I appreciate you asking that question. I was an agent with Virginia Farm Bureau. Started in 1994, and I worked for them for a number of years and thought I could do it differently and better. And so I became an independent agent in January of 1998 and started with 3 carriers, 3 different companies. And we've expanded now to a number of different companies that we represent. Those 3 that we originally represented, only 1 is left. But I did discover that I could do it a little bit differently than where I was as an employee.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. You're like, I've got a really good idea. I'm going to run with this. When you started out your business, was it scary? Were there big risks that you were taking?
Oh, absolutely. Huge risks. I was married, and we had a young child. We had a mortgage. I had no income because when we started, this is commission-based only. And so to sell a policy, I needed to do that so I could eat, pay the mortgage, et cetera. And we were fortunate enough. The best piece of advice I got early on was from my father, who said, you're going to be able to figure out about 70% of everything. The other 30% is faith, and you're just going to have to work on that.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it, right?
Sort of. Yeah.
That's my motto. So you started this business with risks. When did you start bringing on more agents to help you out with this?
Well, I started by myself, and then I brought in a partner just a few months in. He and I had talked about this before. We had worked together at Virginia Farm Bureau, and we talked about getting together. We did that probably around March of 98, and then we brought in another agent very soon thereafter in June, and the 3 of us worked together for a number of years. And then we had some administrative help that came in, and my current staff is myself and 2 other people. So we stay pretty lean.
Stay small,
Yes.
But you guys are local.
Yes.
In the Central Virginia area.
We're in Mechanicsville.
Mechanicsville?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you offer all types of insurance, commercial, property insurance, personal. Can you go into a little bit more about how far your guys' reach is?
Sure. We work the whole state. You have to be licensed in each state to sell insurance there. We're only licensed in Virginia, which is fine with us. That's plenty of stuff to do. We are mostly a personal lines agency, which means we do your home, your auto, your boat, your ATVs, things like that. We also do personal life insurance. We do small commercial, but we don't get too big into the commercial space.
Gotcha. So you can do it all like a personalized loan, or not loan, a personalized policy.
Personalized policy is exactly right. So, and we try to make it easy for you as the consumer, packaging it with the same carrier, but we also have the flexibility to look at a number of different companies and carriers to provide the best coverage and rate for you.
Gotcha. So you work with like Geico?
No, that's a good question because companies like Geico are direct to consumer mostly. Geico does have agents in other states, and they have some in Virginia too, but we do not. Some of the carriers that we work with, you probably haven't heard of just because they direct market through independent agents, which is what I am.
Oh, understandable. I don't know much about insurance. You'll find. I have my car insurance and my home insurance, that's about it.
That's right. That's the way most people are, and that's okay. And then, what we provide and what I try to provide is more of an education piece. I do teach insurance to other agents across the country and through an organization out of Texas. And I try to provide the same information to those agents that I provide to my clients.
That makes sense. Do you think that insurance should be taught in schools?
I think that a basic knowledge of insurance is necessary. Absolutely. I know that when my children went through Hanover County schools, there was a small part of living life course, and that's not the correct terminology, but they had an insurance piece in that. So they came home and asked me questions, and I think it was a one-day kind of course. But they learned enough to pass what they needed to pass, and they moved on.
I feel like when I was in school, my mom, she actually worked for an insurance company.
Okay.
And I asked her so often how insurance works. And I think it just went in one ear and out the other.
It can.
So I'm grateful that there are people like you that are, making sure that agents are informed so they can help people like me who
thank you.
are ignorant in the insurance world.
You know more than you think you do.
I hope so. So what have been the biggest struggles as a small local insurance company?
Well, initially it was just we had a lot of work to do and not enough people to do it. And we sort of learned how to manage that. Today, the challenge is just what the market is doing with respect to rates and having to remarket the clients we have. We have a sizable book of business, a number of clients, and all we do every single day is really talk to them about why their rates have increased over and over. And sometimes I feel like the answers aren't very good, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Like, even if I've been with an insurance company for, 3 years, they'll continue raising the cost, even if I haven't had any incidents.
That's true.
So it is hard to be able to put that trust into a company. But I feel like having someone personalized, like an actual human being on the other end, explaining why makes a lot more sense than just a robot or a lizard.
Yeah, exactly. and that's
me.
the benefit that I think that we hope to bring to our clients is that we can have the conversation of the why instead of you just calling an 800 number, and hopefully you're going to get somebody who is knowledgeable. You will rarely get the same person twice in an 800 number, so they don't know you as a client. We know all of our clients. Mm-hmm. We know their history, their backstory, why they're making this. We know their children, their dogs' names, et cetera. And I think that's important for the service we provide.
Do you, are you the ones responsible for running the claims for incidents?
We are not. We take the initial report, but we do not settle the claims. That is a whole different division. That's a claims adjuster, and we can work closely with the claims adjuster, helping them understand what happened, but we are not the final arbiters of that decision.
But you do help.
We do.
Which is nice.
Yes.
I feel like, again, going back to that, you're dealing with a robot and it tells you to send in pictures of the incident.
And we're seeing more and more of that these days, where claims adjusters are using pictures and AI to determine how much of a payout should be. And sometimes we have to get involved a little bit more.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you go about getting clients to sign up for policies.
Oh, yes. That's always the $1 million question. How do you find the next client? Initially when we did a lot of direct marketing and mailers and those kind of things. Now we are strictly referral and word of mouth. We do not do anything outside of that any longer. And we've been fortunate in that regard. As I'm coming sort of towards the mid to late part of my career, I can see sort of the end. And because of that, I'm a little bit more selective in who we are working with client-wise.
Gotcha. So when you were doing the more of like the marketing rather than the word of mouth, what was the most successful version of that?
Really, we went, it's terrible to say, but we went door to door. And we went door to door and put like door hangers on doors in the local community and said, if please call us. We're new in the business. We've been around for a long time. As far as I grew up in the Hanover area, went to school in Mechanicsville, so I'm a local in that regard, and we were very thankfully fortunate in that regard.
So, as a smaller business, I know I keep saying that, but 3 people, it's pretty small.
Is. That's okay.
How many clients do you guys handle on average, like in a week?
Oh, we have probably close to 2,200 to 2,500 clients in the agency overall. And it just depends week to week, but we will write on a weekly basis 15 to 20 applications per week as new business. And that's pretty stout. So
what are your values when you're taking on new clients and you're talking to them? What are the draws to your company?
Thank you for asking that. What we like to provide is really that education more than anything else. You hear lots of commercials and lots of people saying just low rates, low rates, low rates. And I can provide the lowest rate for you that you'll ever see, but you're not going to get any coverage. And that's the most important part to me, is to make sure that you as my client are covered correctly and understand what you're covered for.
So as someone who doesn't know too much about insurance, what would you recommend if I'm a new client and I'm looking for homeowners insurance?
Sure.
What would that look like?
Oh, what I'd ask you to do is bring your current information in, your current declaration page of the policy that you have, and then we review that. And I will look at it and give you my opinion as to whether there are any coverage gaps, whether you can fill them, how you can fill them, what your coverages are. You may have a policy that's fine, but only doing an insurance review would you really know that.
Do you do that for a cost, for a fee?
Not at all. That's a free service, I guess. What our hope is that once you have seen the value that I provide, you will allow me to offer you a rate for your coverage, and maybe we can find somebody who is, where you would buy a policy.
What has been the most exciting part of 2025 for you?
There's not been a whole lot of exciting things in 2025 with respect to the industry. We still have a lot of challenges. I do see some break, and what I mean by that is we've seen double-digit increases from 2022 really until 2024. I'm seeing some leveling out of rate, and that's unfortunately the biggest indicator for us as far as the health of the industry. It just doesn't keep increasing. We will not see the rates decrease at all, in my opinion. We're going to see them sort of flatten to where they are today. You may see some decrease, but in my opinion, I think the year-over-year double digits that we have seen are here to stay.
Wow. That's good to know. Yeah. I think with everything changing so fast, I think we're in for a lot of increases, and if it doesn't increase, then it stays the same.
Yes. I think that, we will see some of that increase every single year. And we have a couple of companies that have taken wild swings in their rates. We have other companies that have not. And they sort of take a general rate increase of, let's just say, 6 to 8% on an annual basis. And they seem to be the companies that are much more stable financially, coverage-wise, et cetera, even though they do increase every single year when other companies may not.
Are there any red flags if someone is shopping for insurance that consumers can look for?
Yes. Right now, the biggest issue in the property market or homeowners insurance is the age of the roof. And there are many companies now that are putting a hard line in the sand as far as how old the roof is for new business that comes in. And if it's older than 15 or 20 years, the company may just decline to write the risk overall. Yes, I know that there are roofs that can last longer because of the shingle age and things like that, but there are so many of those older roofs that are already on the books with these companies, they don't want to take anything new. Mm-hmm. So they're looking for newer roofs, and this is not just one or two companies. This is across the board in what I've seen with the numerous companies we represent.
And that probably affects homeowners searching for new houses.
It does. It absolutely does, because one of the questions that you should ask if you're looking for a new home is, when was the roof last replaced? And realtors are actually very good at helping with that. They probably put that right in the marketing material now, roofers replaced in, to help the new purchaser understand that.
What is something that's silly that should be insured?
That should be insured. Great question, because when you are like what you're doing as a podcast host, if you did this from your home as an independent podcaster, you would not have coverage under your homeowner's insurance because it's business. Business is specifically excluded in most homeowners policies. Somebody who is doing Shopify, somebody who's doing some of these, extra side hustle gigs, they're not covered by their homeowner's policy, and they think they are.
So what does that mean for someone? What kind of environment would have to take place to, I guess I'm just trying to understand, how far does that extend in terms of is it just not going to cover their business in general, or should they seek out extra business insurance on top of their homeowners? Is there
yes.
a pairing?
Because of the exclusion in the homeowner policy for business, they can, whomever is doing the business, can find a commercial policy that would provide the coverage that they need. And that's in addition to the homeowner's policy.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, it is considered, if you're doing something freelance, that is considered commercial.
Yes.
How did you get into insurance in the first place?
Yes. That's not something that most people just choose to do. I was graduating from the University of Richmond on a Sunday with a degree in chemistry. I was getting married the following Saturday, and I didn't have a job. And my cousin, who was working for Virginia Farm Bureau at the time, said, "Hey, why don't you come along and work here until you can find something better?" And I'm still looking.
Gotcha. That's kind of crazy. So are you ever looking at your chemistry degree and going, man, what can I do with this?
Not really. You know, I have not done chemistry for 30 years, so it's just not part of my makeup any longer. The benefit, though, was taking those courses and seeing how atoms, molecules, et cetera, work together. I can put things together in the world that I'm in now.
Yeah, make more sense of it, at least on a scientific level.
Yes, to some extent, yes.
That's really great. Is there anything that you want your consumers, your clients to know about your company?
Not more than what we've already talked about. We do provide that extra sense of helping you understand what you are purchasing, because it's unfortunately, I think insurance has become a commodity in some regards, especially if you're listening to the radio or the TV or the internet. Just buy this and save money. What are you buying? Do you know what's covered? There are a couple of commercial insurers out there that are advertising on the internet. Buy this and you can go and swing your hammer or paint your wall and be covered. And if you read the policy a little bit more in detail, it's not the coverage you think you have.
So if you're talking to Tucker Franklin Insurance Group, ask some questions, because you're talking to real people.
Please do.
Yeah. And where can people get a hold of you?
Well, usually the telephone's always the best thing for us. It's 804-559-9178. Email is ctucker@tuckerfranklinsgrp.com. And our website is tuckerfranklinsgrp.com. I don't do a whole lot of the socials, but that's because I'm an old guy.
Well, we'll include all of the links we can in the description below. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.